Alexa, set the timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
Hello, Val. It's good to see
Hi.
you again. How have things been since the last time we met?
It's kind of been pretty much the same. Like nothing's new. It's like the same.
Okay, and how did things go with the homework that I gave you?
I guess I got a little stuck because I'm not really sure. I mean, I just feel like we talked. It's the same kind of scenario that I just keep having in my head all the time. Like a lot of what we talked about the first time. That I mean, the pros are stability, just keeping the same. You know, I've kind of put up with things for 20 years. So what's the difference? And the cons are sort of that fear of the unknown. You know, that it would certainly be disruptive economically. You know, it's always more expensive, and I'm just not sure. I don't know, like when I just even looked at doing the paperwork or what, it just seems. Like just a lot of effort to I guess it seems more effort maybe than I want to put into it. Like it just seems like it would just be easier if you could sort of just and I guess maybe we've already done that. We sort of have drifted apart and so it's comfortably dysfunctional, like if there's such a word, and so it's like and I guess a lot of it is I just can't, I'm a pretty frugal person and I just can't imagine like paying a lawyer like thousands of dollars for, I'm not really, to get into this big, I mean, I'd like to just have things end, if I knew things could just end amicably and and just kind of intelligently, but I just, I guess what scared me the most is a personal friend of ours is an attorney, and she personally said that she wouldn't, be involved, but she's known my husband pretty much her whole life, and she's like, he won't make this easy on you, like, she's like, I've represented him in other things, and he'll just make your life miserable, and it's just like, I don't know that aggravation is worth just not just leaving things, kind of where they are that aren't, I guess I'm repeating myself, that aren't really that bad.
So first of all, I'd like to thank you for it. It sounds like you put a lot of thought into it. The homework assignment that I had given you when it came to the pros and cons of staying in your marriage or to try and work on improving your current situation. So I definitely want to give you credit for putting the effort in to like really think about your whole situation. I think that what I'm hearing from you is you said a couple of times that like it's easier to stay. So can you kind of paint a picture for me of what that would look like maybe for the next 10 years? If you were to stay and leave everything as it is, not work on anything, just accept your current relationship for what it is and continue on that way, what would the next 10 years look like?
Well, I know my husband's plan is to retire earlier than I will, so I think, he's, I would say, well, I mean, he already only works part-time, so I would say that, that he would be spending more time kind of doing his own thing, and I'll be spending more, I just have like no desire to retire, and I have, I'm just starting to explore, an entirely different career, and that was, my goal was to use that skill when I retire. It would put some of my personal dreams or whatever on hold. Like I've always thought that, and had a strong desire to become a foster parent, and I know that that would never be possible if I was married to my husband. He would never, he just, that's just not his thing. He's not a very charitable person, or, and just, I don't, he would just, kind of that self-centeredness would come through. He just wouldn't, it just wouldn't happen if I stayed married to him.
Is that something that you guys have talked about, or is this
I've
is
never
this
even
something that
told
you think
him.
about?
I wouldn't, because I wouldn't even tell you. I mean, it just, and again, it's not something I have to do, but I know it wouldn't happen at all. It's just not his. It's just not in his. He's just not that kind of person.
So I've noticed in this session and in our first session that sometimes you voice things that like you would like to do and that you would like to try, but you don't because your husband wouldn't approve, or it's not something he would like to participate in, or he has no interest in doing it. However, you haven't had that conversation with him. So I think maybe having that conversation with him, and what if he did say yes? What would happen then?
It's just, I guess it's more, I guess that's where I get into this ambiguity that it's like I don't really want to deal with stuff that if I'm not going to even bother to stay. I just feel like I've been in this limbo for a while. I mean, like I'll run into people or friends that I haven't seen in a couple of years, and probably one of the first things they'll say is, "Are you two still married?" So, I've definitely voiced over the years that, that all things being equal, that I prefer, that I wish we could have just kind of ended things, like amicably or whatever. And it really wouldn't, I mean, I've said it, like, it would take like 20 minutes. Like, our kids are older, like, there's just nothing, I mean, on the surface, we like I said, we don't have common friends, we don't, like, have common families. I mean, it's not like we have this huge social circle of people that we're together with or anything. So, I mean, I know his, big fear is I mean, I've said to him, several times that if there wasn't an economic, element to it, that we would, he would have had no problem leaving. But I think it's, and he denies that. But I think there's also, that comfort for him. He doesn't like to be alone, and so now that burden, when you're raising kids, it's so busy and everything that. It's just not an issue, but now, that, that piece of it, like sort of that burden of him not liking to be alone sort of falls to me more, so we're sort of forced to spend more time together, and it's not something that we did a lot of before anyway, and now it's just kind of, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, it's okay as long as, like, things just go relatively the way that he wants it to. And I mean, I'm pretty, like I said, I can do a lot of things. I can do a lot of things that I want to do. So like, I like to go to the beach. He doesn't like to go to the beach, so I don't even ask him to go to the beach. But I've noticed that the other day he actually brought his beach chair down and sat at the beach, and that's huge. But it's like, I like to go to the beach and read a book, but then he's there, so I was like, okay, like, because I'm so used to going by myself so I know that was his way of trying to say, and it sounds like a very trivial thing, but that's a big deal. Like, that's probably the first time I've ever seen him, like, kind of try to be proactive. And I mean, and I'm not at fault. I mean, people say that my kids and, I don't know that friends so much, but that I have pretty high standards, it's not like I micromanage things or whatever, but I have high expectations, and then get disappointed when people don't, meet those expectations. And I would say that's fair.
Well, so you had stated that he was trying, and that was a big thing for you, and it's
Right.
understandable that's a big thing for you because from what you've told me, is that one of the main problems is he doesn't try. It's always about him, and you're kind of left sitting in the background, appeasing everybody, and nobody's doing the same for you. So it's understandable that that's a big deal for you to see that he is putting some effort in and that he's willing to attempt to make some form of change to his usual routine to accommodate you and your needs and your wants. So my question then is this the only time that he's made effort to?
No, it's just,
Didn't
it's,
feel like-
no, he really does. Like I said, what we, you know, like, kind of what on the surface seems like pretty minor stuff for him. I mean, he really is, he tries and he'll, like, do something like that, or we'll go to dinner and he'll, you know, pick a place that I like to go, but it only lasts for like a day, and then he gets comfortable and kind of reverts to being all about him. You know, so, I mean, he really is trying. I guess I'm just at the point where I'm not sure I care anymore. Like, it's kind of like, it's, you know, and then I feel like that's the thing. It's like we're always starting and stopping because, I mean, I've been very open and honest for over a year that I just prefer to get divorced, and can we just do it, you know, in a, like, you know, I don't know, what did Gwyneth Paltrow say, consciously uncoupling, you know, couldn't we be that other statistic that doesn't, you know, have to fight? And he's like, absolutely not. Like, that's where he gets like Donald Trump. Like, I go, what do you mean absolutely not? We're sitting here very civilly having a conversation. He goes, no, you're just crazy. Like, everything's fine. You know, that's it. Because in his world, it's fine. I took her out to dinner. I made an effort, so it's fine.
So then is this part of the reason that you're stuck in the, well, not stuck, bad choice of wording, I apologize. So does this then mean that this is part of your decision to, or your thought process that maybe just staying would be the best option because it's easier? Because he's told you, like, no when you've brought up the topic of divorce before, as if it's not an option at all.
Well, I guess that's what I feel like. If you truly, you know, I truly was your forever partner and the love of your life, and I've told you that I really would prefer to just end things, then wouldn't you do that because that's what you truly care about? Like I've said, like, can't we just peacefully? You have your own friends. Like, there isn't a person in the world that knows both of us that would be shocked. Like, there isn't, we have nothing, we have no mutual friends. We don't, like, commingle funds. Couldn't we just, like, you know, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not, like, trying to, you know, screw you or do anything, like, you know, I mean, it's not like we still can't get together and have the kids, you know, for a family function, but I just don't wanna, like, I would just like to, you know, be able to live my life without having to always compromise, or not compromise, just kind of always do things your way. And so I think what's hard is I'm doing more and more things the way I like to do them, and then when he steps in, I think he sees that I'm being more independent, because he's like, oh, every weekend you seem to have friends over, and I'm like, yeah, I have a beautiful house, and, you know, it's fun, and, like, we'll go out, and I get it, like, he's like, kind of like, it's always with my friends, me doing stuff, like, I'm the one busy, and it's like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. And then I feel like when he is around, like, people that we know commonly, he'll, and I don't, like, bullying isn't the right word, but he'll just be, like, overly, like, himself, like, where this attention has to kind of be on himself, because I think he's feeling so left out, and I get it. Like, he has every right to feel left out, but it's like, I can't help it that I am consciously, you know, trying to socialize, meet friends, have a better work-life balance, you know, and enjoy, you know, what I'm doing, where he's still, like, he calls our daughter every day, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, she's in college, like, and they are, like, frickin' freck, they talk, like, and I'm like, I can't even get her to call me back, nor do I mean, she's like, in college, she's doing her own thing. I mean, like, it doesn't even occur to me if I haven't heard from her for a couple days, like, Alexa, shut off the timer.